Hi there, it's Riikka Kovasin here with a post for Nathalie's Creative Squad. This time the theme is primary colors and we got some lovely supplies from Grafix. We got some translucent computer graphics film and opaque white craft plastic as well as double tack mounting film. I had some clear computer graphics film also in my stash, and I use all of those 4 products in my layered tag. Each of the layers has one primary color on them and then some touches of white and black. I start by preparing my bases. I have this chipboard tag that I'm using as my template, and I'll use it to cut some tags out of the computer film and also the white craft plastic. The chipboard tag is going to be the base, then there's the computer film, and the top layer is out of the craft plastic. I used a Sizzix circle die to cut a circle hole to my top layer, and then I use a Fiskars hand punch to do the smaller holes. I'm using it to make the holes on the top of the tag, but also a little one to the computer film tag. These holes are for the layers underneath to show through. So as the first layer is going to be blue, I then have a big opening to show the yellow underneath, and the smaller little hole shows the red. When I have my bases done, it's time to add some color to them. I use my gel printing plate to color the tags. For the top layer I'm making some gel prints using acrylic paint, and then the second one is done with alcohol inks, and the third one again with just acrylic paint. These are just the first layer, so I'm adding more layers later on. For the blue layer I use Batik stencil from Nathalie and also add some texture using the triple play foam stamp. When I then have the blue layer done, or the first layer of the blue tag done, I move on to the yellow one. I add some alcohol inks to my gel plate, then put the Batik stencil on top and add some more of the ink, thus creating the pattern. But when I add the acrylic paint to lift the ink from the plate, I should have waited a little bit longer for the ink to dry to the plate, because then I'm only getting the acrylic paint in the first layer. I used white acrylic paint to clean my plate between the colors. And naturally I store those little prints because they can come handy later on. Then the red one. I actually have a little bit of problem with bright fire engine red, so instead of using that really bright red as my background color, I opted to pink and then create the fiery red layers on top. So for this chipboard tag I'm using again the gelatin printing plate and the triple play foam stamp set. Even though I've cleaned my plate between the colors, there's some yellow residue, which is very okay because it has a lovely grungy effect to the tag. So I'm printing the whole tag the same way. Now that I have all the first layers or initial layers done, it's time to add more layers. And I'm starting with a pink, or should I say red tag, and add that red color to it. I'm using my gel plate as kind of a stamping pad and add 2 colors of red on top, and then I use the triple play foam stamp to stamp to my background. I'm not covering the whole area, just the left side of the tag. After stamping, some inking. I tear a piece of paper to use as my mask and then add a couple of inked lines to the tag. I also ink the edges around the tag. I used the more fiery version to stamp some love knots to the background. Now that the red one has more layers than just the initial one, it's time to do the second one. For this, I make some collaging. I'm using the double tack mounting film and adhere it to a piece of patterned vellum. Then I cut the vellum in pieces and add those pieces to my translucent tag. On top, I then make some layers using the Batik stencil, both with white acrylic paint and yellow alcohol ink. 2 done, 1 to go. That means I'm tackling the blue tag next. I use again collaging, but this time I'm using the sheet I got when cleaning my gel printing plate, and add the double tack mounting film again to the back, and then I cut the sheet to little circles and add those to my tag. To add some more interest to the piece or more contrast, I then brayer some dark blue acrylic paint to my gel printing plate and use the triple play foam stamp to add some pattern and texture to the tag. I'm also using the love knots stamp with the acrylic paint to add some more contrast. Then some splashes to finish each of the tags. What I did between the takes, let's say, is to add a little bit of blue watercolor to the topmost layer. I felt that it needed a little bit of that watery or inky feel, and the craft plastic worked just beautifully with watercolor. As the paint layers are now done, I'm able to add that piece of clear computer graphics film to the opening and then build the layers together using ribbon to bind them. Then when I have the tags layered, I start to decorate them using Posca paint markers. I actually bump the tags really tightly together, so it's a little bit hard to decorate the ones underneath, but I'm opening the bow when I'm not filming. But this is just adding my handwriting or doodling to the layers, adding a little bit of color and pattern here and there. After adding the doodles to all of the layers, I then chose some text stickers and adhered these to each of the pages and then mounted a vintage lady on top. I felt that she's a Maverick, so she can handle these snarky texts I picked up from the text sticker pad. Then I'm finishing each layer with some epoxy dots, and while the front layer has blue on blue, then I mix up the yellow and red together, so the yellow layer has some red dots while the red layer has some yellow dots. And there it is. What I ended up doing after filming is to change the ribbon I had. It was too pink for the primary color, so I changed it to beige, kind of trying to capture that vintage photo feel. Here's the finished layered tag and some detailed shots. Thank you for watching. I'll hope you liked the video, and thank you Grafix for the wonderful products to play with, and please consider subscribing. Thank you. Bye bye.